How myself and Seyi managed President Tinubu, Peter Obi, Fayemi, and a fainted guest during installation mass of Pope Leo 14 at the Vatican, Bianca. I don't understand how you managed President Tinubu, Peter Obi. You managed Peter Obi. I don't understand. Who is asking you that question, Seth? Open Live Nigeria reproduces a piece by Minister of State Foreign Affairs, Mrs. Bianca Ojukwu, detailing behind-the-scenes activities of President Tinubu, Peter Obi, and Kayode Fayemi during the installation mass of Pope Leo 14 at St. Peter's Square in the Vatican. The Vatican has a way of setting everyone on an even keel. I remember how dazed I was when on my last trip during the funeral mass of Pope Francis, some weeks before, when President Donald Trump had walked into the Basilica and was led to his seat at the square. A number of dignitaries lined up to go exchange pleasantries with him, causing a bit of a stir and a crowded scene. To my surprise, a middle-aged, prim-looking priest walked up to them and addressed them rather tersely, "Scusi," meaning "excuse me. This is St. Peter's, not the White House. Kindly take your seats, please." What is that? Hey, he said this is St. Peter's, not the White House. He clearly didn't give a hoot who was likely to be offended, but was more concerned that the order and solemnity of the event was not torpedoed by boisterous politicians. The Nigerian delegation for the installation mass of Pope Leo 14 at St. Peter's Square, led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, arrived early enough when there was ample time for exchange of pleasantries. As we entered, I sighted former governors Peter Obi and Kayode Fayemi already seated, and I went to greet them after the president was seated. So Peter Obi and Kayode, they came in before the president. That means Peter Obi might have actually even greeted the Pope self before. Probably he didn't snap himself or something before the president came, and they said, "Oh, the Pope did not shake Peter Obi. The Pope, they did not allow Peter Obi to enter. They bounced him." You see, they were already seated before the president and Bianca came. Being patriotic citizens, they both decided to come up with me to pay their respect to Mr. President. If you are here, people that were saying that it was Fayemi that went to urge Peter Obi to come and greet the president. Are you hearing the story? They both decided to come up with me to pay their respects to Mr. President. The president very warmly and graciously received both of them in a relaxed and humorous mood, after which they both returned to their seats. She be here now. All the narrative flying that it was Fayemi that begged Peter Obi that let us go and greet the president. She people have it. Thankfully, no excuse from any ushering priests like the scenario during the funeral mass of Pope Francis. Our delegation kept things nice and orderly. I was therefore taken aback by all the buzz and flick that something as simple as a polite greeting to one's elder, not to mention president, an intrinsic part of our African culture, generated across social media space with all manners of innuendos and interpretations. I'm telling you, a lot of interpretations. It was Fayemi that told him to come and greet the president, this one, that one. Let us just agree that many people just had the casual urge to create a giant mountain out of a mini molehill. So let's this one chill. Like I mentioned before, the Vatican, more specifically Mass at St. Peter's Basilica, is a leveler. No matter where you are sitting out in that square under the scorching sun. No special luxury tents or canopies for dignitaries. No air conditioners or fans. People routinely faint and pass out from sunstroke, heat stroke, and have to be evacuated in stretchers or wheelchairs. In fact, the man seated in front of me, he slumped during the mass. It was Seyi Tinubu who saved the day. The bottle of water he had travelled all the way to the vestibule to procure was what he then offered to the man, who were trying to hold from hitting the ground until the emergency medical team arrived with a wheelchair to evacuate him. What is instructive is that, unlike what obtains in our climes of recent, nobody rushed to whip out their phones to record an individual in distress to start posting all over social media. Folks were just busy trying to help stabilize the man. Yes, that culture over there. When something happens, they quickly rush to help, but Nigerians will first of all bring out our phone. We want to be the first person to send it to Tunde Ednot or Instablog Niger. I found it amazing that President Tinubu effortlessly sat and stood through the entire mass, observing every rite as he should, except partaking in Holy Communion. He sat for close to 3 hours under that flaming sun, even declining a sun shield when we offered to search for one. After the mass, he chatted and took selfies with several young Nigerian priests and seminarians who came to greet him, refusing to turn any of them away, even as his aides felt he needed a break. So, the main day was, of course, the power suit which the president wore to the papal installation ceremony. Many Nigerians who saw him in Rome, normally used to seeing him mostly in our native attire, exclaimed that he looked so dapper and debonair. As he walked so stridently to meet up with the new pope, it was clear that this was a pivotal moment. A Muslim being present at a historic mass in St. Peter's Basilica, home of the Catholic faith, a symbolic demonstration of the values and coexistence, and a potent demonstration of the fact that religious difference does not necessarily lead to conflict, but it does in our own country. It does in our own country. Well, I'm pleased to know that my humble phone camera took some of the most iconic images of that momentous occasion. Being that entry into the venue was so severely restricted on that day, it was a stellar outing for Nigeria. It is great to be back home. Okay now. Harrison Ileke says, it's no big deal that you manage the man who appointed you minister and his son managing his own father. The good Lord said, after you have done your job, say, as unprofitable servants, I have done my job, so that you will not find yourself thinking you have arrived or have done what Napoleon couldn't do. Now, let her brag now. Adenile says, Her Excellency, ma'am, I'm looking forward to know when you'll be governor, vice president, or even the president. You are gracious and glorious in your representation. Ikemba would be very proud of you. Chooks Onochukwu says, she is managing with you at what capacity? I don't know. Chief of staff. She may be chief of staff now. I've been a vice president. Because Shetima wasn't there. Okay, let's say Shetima is a conk Muslim. We wouldn't want to go. What about Bajabiamila? Why is this his son that is going around with the father? It is well. Bishop Theophilus says, we shall not be stranded in Nigeria. Amen. Christos Zabdo says, welcome back home, Lady Bianca. Adeshi says, what is all this meeting Pope, shaking the Pope? What is the lesson that teaches you? As the president, you're just wasting the money of your country. It is well. My listeners, over to you. Leave your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for listening. Bye.